The facts are that I always obey the law. I have all the documents. I have very clean past. I would never stage here on the as undocumented.
Her fashion consultant was paid $368,000 according to new Federal Election Committee filings that were just made, and who knows, it could probably be more than that. In addition, her hairstylist was paid over $100,000. That video I showed you at the outset was before Melania Trump and Donald Trump were disgracing the Oval Office, where she was attacking President Obama over the birther conspiracies, where she has probably the most suspicious history. More on that in just one moment. But now the Federal Election Commission reports of all of the political action committees have been released, from Trump's, from Biden's, from all political action committees. The disclosures had to be filed. And what we've learned is that the Trump campaign political action committees have paid Melania's fashion consultants $368,000. So what that means, folks, is that Donald Trump went to donors and said to them, hey, we want all of this money for the campaign, and we want you to make America great, and I'm a powerful billionaire, and all of these things, then took that money and gave it to Melania Trump's fashion consultant, $368,000 there, to Melania Trump's hairstylist. And for what? Melania Trump's been MIA. She's barely appeared anywhere as well. Even if she did appear, the numbers are beyond outrageous, but great. All of the Magadonians out there, as you like to call yourself, you are funding the hairstylist and fashion consultant for a purported billionaire's wife and paying the fee of approximately $500,000 at least, when you add up what at least has been publicly disclosed. Here's the report that we did on MeidasTouch.com about it. Trump campaign's PACs have paid Melania's fashion consultant $368,000. Trump's campaign PACs continue to pay $18,000 every month to Hervé Pierre Braillard, who serves as a fashion consultant to Melania Trump. Braillard also designed the dress that Melania wore to the 2017 inaugural. This now brings the total amount paid to Braillard out of Donald Trump's campaign donations to $368,000 since his relationship with Melania began. The campaign accounts have also paid well over $100,000 in PAC money for Melania's hairdresser. And also, I think Melania herself has received certain PAC money for consulting services as well. Since Melania did not appear at a single campaign event with Trump in 2023, it's unclear how the over $200,000 paid out to Braillard in 2023 alone is related to any presidential campaign. The former First Lady has only made brief appearances with Trump in very few events at Mar-a-Lago and none on the road. The stylist, though, explained his role to Vogue in 2017 when Melania was in the White House. Quote, "My role is to dress the First Lady and advisor. I'm not a stylist, I'm an advisor." And she is adamant about that. So, Mr. and Mrs. MAGA in rural America with their Trump flags continued to send their hard-earned money to the grifter king, Donald Trump, believing it's being used for advertisements and campaign purposes. However, it's going to Melania Trump's hair stylist. You like how I did the hairstylist there? Hair stylist and her fashion designer and her fashion stylist to the tune of close to $500,000. Also, close to $60 million, Mr. and Mrs. MAGA, you're paying for Trump lawyers like Alina Habba, some of the worst lawyers in the country. Alina Habba's made about at least $3.5 million from Donald Trump's political action committees to do such great things like lose an $83.3 million verdict in the E. Jean Carroll case, while proving Alina Habba, that is, while proving she does not even know how to introduce exhibits in federal court. Didn't know you have to pre-mark exhibits, didn't know you have to show a document to a witness and say, do you recognize this document? Can you please state what this document is, establish a foundation, then maybe ask the question after. So I guess you can say money well spent for the Magadonians right there. So one of the things I was trying to do is trying to find where Melania appeared. I could really only find one thing where Melania showed up at. And a few months ago, she spoke in Washington, D.C. I don't even know why she was invited to do this. And she spoke to American citizens who were just becoming citizens that day. And she talked about her journey to them, which I found completely odd and suspicious, because when you actually know her story as well, which I'll talk about in just one moment, it has red flags after red flags. Have you heard of the Kit Kat Club? We'll talk about the Kit Kat Club and Paolo Zampoli in a moment and how Donald Trump met Melania. Just hang tight for that. But it actually seems, was Melania speaking at this event in order to justify these exorbitant hairstylist and fashion stylist fees to say, look, I was doing something. So was she grifting off of these? I mean, she's totally grifting in general, but off of these new American citizens while giving this speech here. Remember this speech here? Play this clip.
And then, of course, there are nuances of understanding the United States immigration laws and the complex legal language contained therein. I was very devoted, but I certainly was not an attorney. And eventually, it proved critical for me to retain counsel. I was fortunate to do so, as ultimately my journey was streamlined and brought me over the finish line as a naturalized citizen. While challenges were numerous, the rewards were well worth effort.
If you're like most people on planet Earth, you enjoy a good cup of coffee. I just found a new product to put in my coffee that has all these awesome benefits called 4Wellness. You have to try it out. This podcast is sponsored by 4Wellness. 4Wellness is a functional food brand with a unique range of snacks and supplements that are designed to help you get the most out of your body and mind. Their best-selling product, The Good Stuff, is a performance coffee supplement that supercharges the natural benefits of your coffee with just one scoop. Enjoy better focus, reduce the caffeine jitters, increase your collagen, and support fat burning with the power of The Good Stuff's 5 key ingredients: L-theanine, collagen, MCT, cinnamon, and Himalayan salt. On top of that, The Good Stuff helps you ditch the bad stuff like sugar, dairy, and artificial creamers. 4Wellness was founded by world-renowned performance coach Dave Phillips, who's worked with some of the world's highest-performing athletes because he saw his athletes struggling with their health and in need of a simple, delicious way to get functional ingredients into their daily routines. Now, Dave is bringing his unique insight from the pro sports world to you with 4Wellness. I already talk about coffee enough with my brothers and annoy them by going on and on and on. And guess what? Now I get to do that twice as much by bragging about my 4Wellness every day. It not only tastes great, but it makes me feel great as well. 4Wellness also offers Superfood Focus Bites, a delicious snack that literally tastes like a chocolate brownie, except it's made from nootropics like lion's mane, mushroom, and cacao. It also has amazing benefits like fighting inflammation and supporting brain and gut health. Plus, they offer tart cherry recovery gummies, which help combat muscle soreness, coffee pods, and more amazing products that you could work into your daily routine. And 4Wellness offers a 60-day money-back guarantee, so what do you have to lose? So, if you drink coffee, it's time to give 4Wellness a try. Head to 4wellness.com/Meidas and use code Meidas for 25% off your order. Once again, that's 4wellness.com/MEIDAS for 25% off, and make sure to use my promo code Meidas so they know I sent you.
So that's what Melania was saying to that group of people. We now know she's been paid close to about $500,000 has been diverted to her fashion stylist, who she calls her advisor, and her hairstylist. Remember when Melania attacked President Obama over his birth certificate? I don't think she's really qualified and she should be talking to the group of people that she... Remember this clip? I'm not going to forget about it. Play this clip.
But what is this with the birth certificate obsession? Did he ask to see yours when you met him?
I needed to put mine anyway, because if you want to become an American citizen, you need to put the birth certificate.
Right.
I have a birth certificate from Slovenia. And do you want to see President Obama birth certificate or not?
I've seen it.
It's not the birth certificate.
Well, it's a certificate of live birth,
right,
which they get. But Melania, if he insists on what he's saying, then no one in Hawaii can ever run for president, because they all get the same live birth certificate.
Well, but they need to have...
Midler is finished, for example.
They need to have, and in one way, it will be very easy if President Obama just show it, and because it's not only Donald who wants to see it. It's American people who voted for him and who didn't vote for him. They want to see that.
But it's on display in Chicago. We've seen it on the internet. We've seen it. It's not the same as yours, but it's a certificate of live birth.
Well, we feel it's different than birth certificate.
All right. Well, I think you should give it up at this point.
Well, it's not. It's not him that it's bringing up. It's the media all the time.
Yeah, and do you remember when Donald Trump said, "We're going to hold a press conference and she's going to show you all the documentation. It's perfect. It's big. It's powerful. Her documentation's big and powerful and perfect." Play the clip.
Maybe she came in illegally. Maybe. Let me tell you one thing. She has got it so documented, so she's going to have a little news conference over the next couple of weeks. That's good. That's good. I love it. I love it. They said, Melania Trump may have come into our country illegally, and how would that be for Donald Trump to be talking? Here's the only problem. She came in totally legally. I mean, so that's what they'll say. All right, but you'll see it in a little while. I said to her, no, let it simmer for a little while. Let them go wild. Let it simmer.
Well, how did Donald Trump meet Melania? And how did she all of a sudden get the Einstein visa? How did she get the genius visa, as it's called? The Einstein, her whole process here. Well, there was somebody by the name of Paolo Zampoli who had what he referred to as a modeling agency in New York. And one of the things his modeling agency would do is they would bring in Eastern European women, and then they would make introductions to wealthy businessmen at parties at locations like the Kit Kat Club, as it's called. And these clubs featured alligators and tiger clubs and models at nightclubs blowing kisses to the fashion television cameras. So it's being described by the New York Times without really probably recognizing the full context of everything here. But Paolo Zampoli would bring these models in. There'd be these big parties. Wealthy men from Manhattan and elsewhere would meet these models, and that's how Donald Trump met Melania. That's how it went down. And by the way, you can go and look at some of the other past reporting that we've done here, though. But there's lots of other articles that are that had been written in that mid-1990s period about how Ghislaine Maxwell, referred to as Madame Maxwell at the time, would bring girls or women to meet Donald Trump, and they talked about how Trump would meet the one woman in particular and put her in the one of the apartments, installed her in one of the apartments. We did a whole video on that, but this was all during that kind of mid-1990s period. Here's the New York Times article, just so you can see it. When Donald met Melania, Paolo was there. He secured Miss Trump's visa to the United States and introduced her to her future husband at the 1998 party he hosted at the Kit Kat Club. Zampoli's parties featured alligator tiger cubs and models at nightclubs blowing kisses to the cameras. So now, Magadonians, the middle Americans, Trump supporters, were giving Donald Trump your money. Great. You are now giving Melania the money so that she can pay for her stylists and her travel, and you're paying for Donald Trump's private jets, because this is what so-called billionaires really, really need. It's so utterly pathetic. But That's the Trumps for you. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million. Have a good one.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.